What's going on, guys? Aaron from I Need a Haircut Gaming here, and today I'm coming at you with a dueling book game between myself at 445 rating currently, and actually Bonjour YCS, and he is at 1182 rating, which is very high rated. This was a very high rated game, well, not because of me, but because of him, and yeah, he is on the branded Eldlich deck, a 60 card variant, so yeah, I wanted to do another game with Dinomorphia because I did just recently get the second place finish at Tulsa, and I know a lot of people were watching the channel wanting, you know, more tips with Dinomorphia, and it's a deck I'm really enjoying. Like, I think this deck is super solid, and yeah, I'm super excited to show another game with it. So if you do enjoy this type of content, be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps me out in what I do here on the channel. I am trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you could help me reach that goal, it would be greatly appreciated. So without further ado, let's get into this dueling book game, starting with rock, paper, scissors, of which I do win. Very fortunate for Dinomorphia because it obviously has a better go first than a go second. Even though it's go second, if you open like Frenzy Strike, you probably just win. So looking at the hands, I have a Diplos, an Ash Blossom, a Solemn Judgment, a Ferret Flames, a Theresia. This hand is kind of weak, actually. I mean, seeing Diplos is never fun, but it does happen often. But the reason it's kind of weak is it loses to a hand trap, which are not the hands you want to see in Dinomorphia. You want to either open multiple ways to see at least one fusion trap like Frenzy or Domain, or like a Called by the Grave or Strike to protect the one fusion trap you get. Now, our opponent, on the other hand, opened Nibiru, Fallen of Albaz, Eldlich, Branded Fusion, and Aluber. So definitely branded Eldlich, and it's a version running a lot of hand traps, and that's why it's like a 60 card pile, I'm assuming. Branded Eldlich has been doing good, but I've mostly seen 40 to like 45 card variants, and 60 is something I haven't seen often, so it might be something being tested out, but it definitely it is a pretty strong deck. So we're going to start off with the game here, and I'm going to start my turn obviously with Theresia, and I'm going to go ahead and set Frenzy from the deck as seen here. Definitely, if you're going to get one fusion trap, it should be Frenzy 100% of the time. Set the Judgment, set the Ferret Flames, pass. So Ash is something you don't see in a lot of Dinomorphia decks, which is something I wanted to bring up because it's what sets my list sort of apart from the other Dinomorphia decks doing well at regionals, is they're not on Ash. And Ash, for me, has just overperformed in every sense of the word every time I use her. And I think she is such an amazing card in this deck because the things you really want to stop with Dinomorphia are things like Robina, which can search Statue, Branded Fusion because it's so high impact, and like Vessel against Sword Soul because it can dump Vishuda. So like Ash really stops a lot of things this deck doesn't want to deal with. So yeah, I think Ash is really good. I just wanted to touch up on that. Our opponent does draw Cyframe Gear Gamma, which is actually pretty good for him because it sort of is really good because he can set back row and bait and sort of let me play into Gamma. And that's what our opponent's going to do. He's going to set 2, try to end main phase 1, and I'm essentially forced to activate Frenzy because it is restricted to my opponent's main phase. We're going to go ahead and dump the Diplos, send Stealth Bergia from extra deck, and we are going to summon Kentragina. And I'm going to use Kentragina effect, banish the Frenzy, to which our opponent is going to activate Cyframe Gear Gamma. Now, this is what I mean, as in I'm playing into Gamma, and he knows I'm playing into Gamma, so it's a really good play on his part because he knows I have to activate the Fusion Trap here. For me, it definitely is worth it to activate Ash on this Gamma because it means I get my Rex, and I don't quite know what he's playing yet, so I'm not sure if Rex just instantly wins the game. There is a fly flying around me. He's going to have to go. But yeah, if Rex wins me the game, I want to make sure I summon Rex. So, gonna Ash the Gamma, and we are gonna send Stealth Bergia from the extra deck and dump Theresia, and summon out our man Rex. Now, this is just still one of the most broken cards in the current metagame to me, and it's one of the reasons I want to play Dinomorphia even more, is because Rex just wins games on his own. Now, we are at 2,000 life points, so our opponent is able to summon Fallen of Albaz and attempt to use his effect. However, while we were playing, he did this very quickly, and I tell him, yo, wait, don't discard. I have a Solemn Judgment. I'm going to use that. So yeah, he adds his cost back and is going to go ahead and put the Fallen of Albaz in Graveyard, putting me at 1,000 life points, which is even better. Of course, losing the Judgment there does kind of stink. Our opponent's going to go ahead and activate the Branded Fusion, and we had to use the Ash on the Gamma, which is unfortunate. He's going to go ahead and dump Albaz and Eldlich, and now I finally know what he's playing. He's on Branded Eldlich, and Eldlich is actually pretty good versus Dinomorphia because the send effect from hand is a good out to Rexstrom. So He's going to go ahead, add Eldlich back to his hand, and then special summon it in defense. End phase, he's going to banish, make Conquistador, or set Conquistador, and he's going to pass over to me. I'm not going to Ferret Flames at end phase, that's what I'm thinking here, because there's a better play, and that is to go main phase here, normal Diplos, activate Diplos. Our opponent says it's good. I'm going to go ahead and dump Sonic because it can stop battle damage. And then he's going to allow me to make Logia, and the second he does this, it tells me he wasn't really ready for Logia to pop up, or any like Evolves RXCs in that matter, because normally you'd want to just like Conquistador Rex there. Now, it doesn't really matter for this play because I do have, like, it lets me get Theresia again essentially, so I can see why he might not want to. But letting me get to Logia means he's not going to activate Conquistador at all, so now I activate the Ferret Flames, which he will have to send everything he controls back to the deck, or extra deck in the case of Albion. He activates Ferret Flames, I go ahead and Logia because he controls monsters and he can't Gamma me here. And this is going to be enough for game. This is 3,000 with Rex, 3,000 with Ketragina for 6,000, and 8,400 with the Logia. So we're going to go battle phase and very quickly wrap up game 1. Yeah, and he's going to go ahead and mid defeat, and now I am actually going first this game, and I think it's because this is like, not everyone believes this, but it's a very strong opinion that Eldlich himself is much better going second than he is going first. Like, Eldlich as a card is so good going second because he's a non-destruction send, right? And then he also can bring back and be a 35 beat stick, which at the very least would bait 2 negates, but against a deck like Dinomorphia, he is particularly good because he outs Rex and then comes back and is huge. So I think it was really smart of him to go second here. Of course, I'm siding in go second cards like Evenly Matched, like those as well. So I think his choice to go second here was very smart. But this is still Dinomorphia, so we are still playing these amazing go first cards, right? So we open our hand. It is Diplos, Frenzy, Solemn Judgment, Fossil Dig, Solemn Strike. This hand is insane. This is what I mean by ways to get to multiple fusion traps. We have Fossil Dig, which is Theresia, which gets Domain. And we have Solemn Strike to protect our fusion trap if need be. So this hand is what you want to see. And talking about my list for a second, this is a little different from the list I topped with. This list is running a Miscellaneousaurus with an additional Fossil Dig. And the reasons for that is, honestly, in like all of my testing, Miscellaneousaurus is good for a couple of things. And not only does Misk being in the deck mean you can up your Fossil Dig count and have it still be good, but it allows you to sort of have Theresia be better going into a board because you can make her unaffected. And then she's guaranteed to like set a trap. But it's also good like protecting your Rex from things that he normally isn't safe from, like a Mirage Stalio affecting Graveyard, an Eldlich Send, or like a Vishuda Bounce. So I think Misk is like a really good way to protect Rex, and that's why I'm sort of testing him out. Our opponent opens up Fallen of Albaz, Sanguine, Cosmic Cyclone, which is amazing versus this deck because the traps are restricted to main phase, Cursed Eldland, and Nibiru. So this is honestly an insane go second hand. Nib being in the main deck's a little weird. I'm guessing he just didn't have enough to side out. So yeah, I'm going to start off with Fossil Dig. Going to go ahead and search Theresia. We're going to normal summon Theresia. Activate effect. Probably go ahead and set Sonic here if I can remember correctly. Yeah, Sonic. And this is to protect ourselves from, of course, Evenly Matched, Lightning Storm. I mean, he made us go first, so I know he is packing power. So we already have Frenzy plus Solemn Strike. It means I'm safe to go for Sonic. Set the Strike, set the Frenzy, set the Judgment. And yeah, this is an amazing first turn for Dinomorphia. Our opponent draws Brand Infusion. That is an insane draw. I mean, look at this hand. This hand is insane. Of course, Fallen of Albaz is a little weird, but it actually is pretty good versus Dinomorphia, so not a bad draw to be the normal summon. He's going to go main phase 1, and he is going to go ahead and Cosmic Cyclone the Sonic. I should have negated that, and I know that sounds weird, and I guess like it's not good, but having Sonic Engrave comes up, and if I don't negate the Cosmic, Sonic actually goes to Banish, which is terrible because it's not blocking any battle damage. However, but because I have Solemn Strike, it's definitely better in this situation specifically. It's good not to activate the Sonic here in the case because Theresia won't special summon back, she won't float. And we have Strike, which is life point restrictive. But in any situation where life points don't matter and you have something to float into, I think activating Sonic on that Cosmic Cyclone is actually not a terrible idea. Because it also gets your life points lower, which is great. Just something I want to mention for people like watching to learn Dinomorphia. Brand Infusion, no Ash Blossom here. And risky Solemn Judgment, in my opinion. Like, I did this because again, Branded Fusion gets him super far ahead and dumps Eldlich, which I'm currently, like, not wanting him to get. But it gets punished very hard by an additional Branded Fusion or an Eluber. So it's a little risky, but I felt like it was going to be okay. He's going to go ahead and set 2 and attempt to end main phase 1, which of course I'm forced to activate Frenzy again. He definitely knows his way around the Dinomorphia matchup. Like, the only potential slip up was letting me make Logia, but like, he definitely knows what to do against traps that are restricted to main phase 1. Because he knows I'm going to go for him. And I'm going straight for Rexstrom. I sort of don't want to play into Gamma here is the reason. Like, I saw he's on Gamma in his main deck, and he's going second, so I'm like, wow. Gamma on Kentrigina means I'm forced to use Strike, and I can't use Strike because Kentrigina is going to put me at 1,000. So I was in a position where I didn't want Kentrigina to get stopped, and I wanted Rexstrom. So I do not go for Kentrigina here. Which, again, it's for the reasons I said, but I'm not sure if playing around Gamma was the smartest thing in this hand. Maybe just, like, running into Gamma would have been better, but, again, I was a little scared of Gamma is the reason I went for this play. He's going to activate Cursed Eldlin, which is such an amazing card here. He's going to normal summon Fallen of Albaz, and I am at 2,000, so again, Albaz can activate. A reason to go for Kentrigina is I would normally be at 1,000 here, and then Fallen of Albaz can't even attempt to activate, so that's tough that we were playing around Gamma, maybe too scared of it, but that is the reason we went for this play. We're going to have to strike this. I can't let him make Mirror Jade with my Rexstrom. Just not going to happen. He's going to send Sanguine for Eldlich, put it in defense. Not wanting to, of course, put this in attack and swing because Rexstrom is going to make him tiny and he's going to lose that battle. He's going to go end phase, activate Sanguine, set Conquistador, which is really bad for us. I'm going to draw Alert, which is a great top deck because of the Conquistador set. Like, I know Rexstrom is going to get rolled here. I'm going to normal summon the Diplos. Diplos effect is going to go ahead and burn my opponent for 500 and send Sonic to grave to protect us from battle in case it comes up, as the first one did get banished. Our opponent is going to Conquistador, pop the Rex, and I'm going to let that go through. Rex effect going to bring out the Diplos, which is already activated. Unfortunate that we didn't have an additional Kentrigina in grave. Yeah, it's just unfortunate. And then I'm going to go ahead and overlay into Dolka. The reason I overlay into Dolka is, again, it's mostly Eldlich I'm afraid of, and I know I'm getting back Rex. So I felt like if I stop Eldlich, his effect from going off, that maybe, you know, I can protect Rex with the Dolka. But Logia also saves us from Conquistadors, so it was like sort of a catch-22 where something in the Eldlich engine is going to beat my board currently anyways. He's going to Twin Twister and draw phase, and I'm going to Alert. So thank goodness Alert wasn't a fusion trap because then it couldn't activate. I'm going to pay half, and I'm going to bring out the Rexstrom. And Rexstrom, of course, being an amazing card here. Our opponent can't really do anything in this position except search another Conquistador, and that's because, like, again, we have Dolka. Like, if we didn't have Dolka and we had Logia, our opponent could link someone with these, pop Cursed Eldlin with Eldlich, add it back, and then send, and get rid of Rexstrom that way. Not sure that's the best play, but it's just something he could do, which is why I made Dolka. I'm going to draw Domain, which is another amazing draw. It's really good. We're going to go ahead and make Dark because I know he has Conquistador, so the second I go into main phase, I'm putting Theresia off this board so that when he pops my Dark, I can Rexstrom effect bring back Theresia, which was my goal here. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and activate the Dark just to take his Fallen of Albaz. I don't have any... This build isn't on access code. It is on the Xyz, like the Raiders Night package instead. So Fallen of Albaz being a level 4 Dark could come up for sure. Currently we have 9 Watchers. Again, this man was super high rated, or woman, I don't know. They were super high rated, and yeah, a lot of people wanted to watch. So I go Battle Phase, and Rex is going to swing there at the Eldlich. Dark is 50 higher than Conquistador, and we're going to swing 1800 Albaz. So our opponent doesn't use Conquistador here, which I thought was interesting, but again, I think it was a good play because he's going to try to use that Conquistador to win the game rather than like spare him this turn. And he didn't want me getting Theresia on my turn because then the trap is activatable on his turn. So again, smart play. Faithful Adventure, you know, normally that is a brick. That is a super amazing draw in this situation. Actually so good for him because it just gives him a lot of ways to search what he needs. He's going to go ahead and dump the Enchantress, which is going to go all the way through the Faithful Adventure stuff. Again, all I have is a Domain, so nothing really to stop this play. 15 Watchers. That's a lot of Watchers. I don't remember there being that many. He's going to go ahead and write. All of this is going to end up being good, and of course now he's going to get Draco back. This is another thing miscellaneous sources in the deck for, like Dracoback. Normally you can have like a really good card to out the token or not even worry about Dracoback because you have like Sonic for right or things like that. But there are situations where it comes up that you really would want Misk for something like Dracoback, which is why I'm currently testing it. Now you could also have like Goes and Match per se to have an out to the token. Like it's really hard for them to Dracoback if you have Goes and Match, and they probably just lose right there. But this build currently wasn't testing Goes and Match, so that's something to note as well. I'm going to domain, pay half, dump 2 Dinomorphia monsters. Go ahead and Kentragina. He Dracoback targeted my set card, which is why I did that. He's going to summon Eldlich. I'm going to go ahead and Kentragina effect, banish the Frenzy that is in graveyard, paying half, putting me at 63. Special back the Rex. Or no, I banished Alert, not Frenzy, excuse me. And yeah, Alert just brings back Rexstrom, which would normally be fine, but because he has Conquistador plus Sanguine here, it's not going to work out good in my favor because of the fact that he has that Sanguine. And even more so because of the fact that he has banished my Sonic with that Cosmic initially, which is why I brought up that it could come up, is this Sonic being banished is going to hurt. We go ahead and set Brute. He's going to link 3 into BLS, which is enough to deal 33 damage, so I'm forced to banish Sonic. And then our opponent can activate the Sanguine in the battle phase and attack for game. Like, there's a bunch of effects going on just in case he messed up. I wanted to make my best plays, but Sanguine is going to end the game right here. Special still meaning Eldlich and swinging over Fallen of Albaz. Sonic, the additional Sonic is banished due to Cosmic Cyclone, so can't protect ourselves from this battle damage, and that is going to make us scoop on game 2. But we are going first in game 3. Despite him making us go first, I still wanted to go first at the end of the day, just with actual go first cards. Opening hands, we have Brute, Judgment, Fragrance, Fossil Dig, Diplos. Our opponent has Right, Cosmic, Huaquero, Gamma, Faithful Adventure. So my hand is pretty good. I've seen that he's on a lot of spells, so I decided anti-spell even versus Eldlich is going to be pretty good here. Opening Diplos over Theresia is always whack because we could have searched Misk here, which would have been amazing because he has Gamma. But yeah, Fossil Dig can still search Theresia. But otherwise, our hand, again, is one of those hands that lose to a hand trap. You don't want to open these, but it's those hands where you open Diplos, it's tough. Now, luckily, even if we did get, like, interrupted here on a bad spot, we have Diplos and Brute, which Diplos can dump Theresia and Brute can pop. And I think we'd have the interrupts to wait and then Theresia bring back and play on our next turn. So I think we would have been fine with this hand either way, but it is rather weak here. And our opponent's hand is pretty good. So we're going to Fossil Dig, Special Theresia. I really added Theresia and normal summoned her, but I just didn't want to take too many steps. He's going to allow us to set Frenzy here, so he wants to hold the Gamma for, you know, my Kentragina, which I guess is fair? I don't know. I think hitting Theresia is better there, but him waiting for something like Kentragina plays around me already drawing a fusion trap, so I get what he's going for. But Theresia would just be the second fusion trap anyways, so he's trying to Cosmic one of them and Gamma the other. So he's trying to play around 2 fusion traps, but we're going to anti-spell and he's going to try to hit our set Frenzy. I'm forced to Judgment here. That's just how it is. Like, if Frenzy goes, I'm upset. So we saw him Judgment the Cosmic Cyclone. Our opponent's going to set. The Driver draw does suck for him, by the way, though. He drew Driver and Faithful Adventure. Faithful Adventure, I think, is good versus my deck, so it's like a brick because he drew Right. But Driver just generally isn't that great. I'm going to end... So we both open pretty subpar in this situation, I think. I'm going to Frenzy because he tries to end main. And I'm going to go for the Kentragina. And I'm going to use Kentragina effect, try to banish Frenzy, and our opponent Drivers, to which it's fine this time. Played around in game 2, didn't play around it in game 3, and we get punished by it. So, you know, luck of the draw, that's just how it is. Like, the one time I play around it, he doesn't have it, and then I play into it, and he has it. That's just Yu-Gi-Oh! But I'm going to use Kentragina's effect to bring back a Diplos, so it's not all for lost here. We're going to be able to Diplos effect, dump the Sonic, and we're dumping Sonic because he now has a Driver in attack position that can actually just destroy us. Of course, we have Brute, and he doesn't know that, but want to make sure we're protected from battle damage either way. Our opponent's going to Synchro into Hauki Fibrax, and he's going to special summon from his deck. He's going to go ahead and special summon a Ash Blossom, so, you know, that's a card. He's going to go into the battle phase, I believe. Yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and activate the Brute, and I'm going to pop Theresia, in one random back row. I choose this one, which is actually the only Eldlich trap. Like, if I hit Faithful there, it's so good. If I hit right, it's still pretty good. But hitting Quaquero is just the worst one. That's so unlucky. But now, I did that because I popped Theresia, even though technically Halqifibrax could swing for game. I did that because I was going to banish Sonic and then Diplo's effect, bring back Theresia, and get a free set. But he decides to leave the battle phase, so it's pretty smart on him. I draw another Diplos. I have now drawn 3 Diplos. That is an unfortunate occurrence. That does not happen often. That is awful. You don't want to be drawing 3 Diplos. But we're going to normal summon our 3rd Diplos. Use the effect, dump something else. I mean, at this point, we're just dumping extra Sonics. And this could be an overlay, but I'm actually just going to go into the battle phase and swing at his Halqifibrax. Really surprised he doesn't tag it out here. I don't know if that means he doesn't have a target, but I would have definitely tagged out Halq here into anything in my extra deck, Formula, TG Wonder Magician, anything, and put it in defense just so I couldn't ram. But he's going to allow me to do this, which I'm going to banish the Sonic to save myself from battle damage. Diplos effect, go ahead and banish Solemn Judgment and bring out Theresia, who will activate her effect. Going to go ahead and set a Frenzy, probably, maybe an Alert, Frenzy. And we're going to swing over Halqifibrax because she is 2000 attack. And we are going to go main phase 2, overlay into Logia. He's always allowing me to make the Evolzar Xyz, which is fine. I mean, in this case, like, he could have popped Diplos and put me off of this, but I guess he doesn't want to. Or, what am I talking about? He doesn't have a way to stop this. I was thinking he still had Conquistador for some reason, but he doesn't have a way to stop me making Logia this time. I don't know what I'm talking about. But he's going to activate Eldlich. I'm going to go ahead and special good old Golden Lord, and he draws another Gamma, and this is the downside of Gamma. So he's drawn Gamma, Driver, I've drawn 3 Diplos. We're both having some pretty terrible luck here. But this is the downside of Gamma for sure. Like, mine is an engine requirement, but Gamma, as powerful as he comes with risks, and that is drawing him when you've already used Driver, and drawing him when you already have monsters. So, tough, but that is the cost to pay for running Gamma in the main deck. He's going to Fateful Adventure here. I'm going to Logia. Don't want to see it. Don't want to touch it. Don't want Fateful here. He's going to activate Right. So, if he plays 2 Fateful, we get punished. But he doesn't play 2 Fateful in 60, so we're kind of good there. Going to go ahead and... Or wait, does this say place or activate? Place. Okay, so it gets around anti-spell too. I knew that. I just wanted to make sure. He's going to go try to leave main phase 1. I'm going to go ahead and activate Frenzy. Or no, I actually say on res. He's not trying to leave anything. I just want to make sure Frenzy resolves. I'm going to go ahead and make Kentragina, pay half, put me at 125. And then I'm going to summon Rex, which Rex here is in a phenomenal position because he is a menace. But our opponent does have the Sanguine engraved, so he's able to set Conquistador, which is tough. We draw Miscellaneous Source, which means we have drawn like 4 monsters naturally this game. In a Fossil deck, we've drawn 5 out of 7 monsters in our deck. That is insane, but Misk here is pretty good. Gonna go ahead and summon our 3rd Diplos, which is just insane. We drew 3 Diplos, that's so crazy. Dump Alert. Gonna go ahead, use the Kentragina. Our opponent says it's fine. I banish Brute. He lets it go through. Or actually, okay, he says go through Kentragina. He wants to respond. I Kentragina banished for cost, and then he says, So that's where we're at. He wanted to see what I banished first. In response to Kentragina, he is going to Conquistador. I'm going to Miscellaneous Saurus. Our opponent pops Anti-Spell, which I think popping Logia would be better. Maybe he thought Logia was a dinosaur, but Logia is just big, so surprised he didn't pop Logia. He popped Anti-Spell. I can understand if he survives and he draws a spell, he wants to use it, so fair enough, but Logia gets rid of a lot of damage on board here. I'm going to actually pop the Kentragina. Wait a second. Okay, I've actually never used Misk outside of this deck, so I wanted to make sure it was just our opponent's effects, because otherwise popping our own Kentragina would be very tough. We're going to pop our own Kentragina, use her effect, special back, there's that gosh darn fly, special back Theresia, use the effect, go ahead and set domain just in case, but I'm pretty sure it's game here because I'm going for the Raiders Knight package, which I wasn't running in my Tulsa build, but I wanted to run because it comes up in situations like this, where it is a game-winning play. Like, I just made Arc Rebellion and Arc Rebellion detached Diplos. This thing is gaining 5,400, 7,900, 8,400, I believe 10,400. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this thing is gaining 10,400 attack. And that's more than enough for game, so yeah, our opponent is just going to lose there. So we do pick that game up. This was a lot longer than I wanted it to be, but I was explaining, maybe over-explaining, so you guys can let me know in the comments down below if I should explain less, or you like the very in-depth commentary for those who actually watched all the way. But we do win against branded Eldlich with Dinomorphia. Super close game. Our opponent definitely played super well, so kudos to him. And Raiders Knight and Ark Rebellion coming through. Super excited to show off the package that I added to this deck and show off the miscellaneous source that I added. Couple of changes still going on with this deck. If I decide to go to Nats, I might consider this deck. I'm testing many decks, but Dinomorphia is one of that I am testing currently and just changing the build constantly to see if I can make it even better than the build I used to get second place at Tulsa. But that is going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe. This has been Aaron from Top Tier Gaming. Bye, YouTube.